Hi friends, my name is Kat. I'm a suburban gardener in New Jersey, and today we're gonna do an October garden tour. If you're one of my new friends stopping by, I just want to let you know that my garden is 40 feet long and 16 foot wide here at the side of my house. When you first walk through the garden gate, your nose is hit with the smell of lavender, and it is the best feeling in the entire world. I am so excited. This has put out at least 3 flushes of flowers now, and I'm starting to think of ways to propagate it. I read that you can propagate lavender through cuttings as well as rosemary. So in the spring, I think that's what we're going to do. We're going to take some lavender cuttings and we're going to take some rosemary cuttings. Even the lemon thyme down here is just looking so good. I did do a big chop of it so that I could dehydrate some earlier in the season, but it's starting to really grow back and become even more lush than before. I think it prefers to be a little shaded. It was getting kind of beat up. The sage over here, so I have really started to just use a lot of sage in my cooking, and the plants that are planted over here, I think there's about 4 or 5 little plugs that I put in here last winter. They're doing really well, some of them better than others. Overall, I'm still really happy with its performance, so I'm gonna call it a win. The snapdragons over here, I'm going to do a little experiment and leave them over the winter because they seem so established. I'm wondering if they'll make it through till next spring. So the zucchini over here is actually still putting out fruit. We're going to have our first frost soon, so it's going to kill it. And this thing is covered in powdery mildew anyway, so she really didn't stand a chance, you know. So in the next bed, we've got Status, which has just bounced back. It is so healthy, so lush, so green, pushing out so many additional flowers for me. This has now earned a permanent flower spot in my garden. Definitely recommend growing this. Now my fennel over here, if you can see my little buddy. He might not be a buddy to you, he's a buddy to me. Look at that little wasp. Man, they have been all over the fennel this year, guys. Down here, if you recall, we got that zucchini I'm leaving to save seeds, but it's not changing colors on me, so I'm wondering if it's even supposed to change colors. I am still going to take it out, of course, because I do want to save seeds and we're going to have that first frost and I don't want it to turn to mush. Now over here in this greens bed, you'll see we have the king of kale, blue scotch curled, growing to be ginormous. I'm so impressed. As soon as the weather gets cold, kale just jumps up and becomes huge. I did overseed a big patch of cilantro over here because I love cilantro, and it also overwinters here in New Jersey. And real quick, I noticed there's 2 kale plants, not just one. Now over here, if you can make it out from the weeds, I've got spinach. Now this is bittercress, which is an edible annual weed, and I am going to leave it. It's pretty much everywhere, and if I was to try to rip it out, it would be futile. But these larger ones, this is wild lettuce, a wild variety of lettuce. It's a weed. So these larger ones, I'm going to try to pluck out and pull out the whole thing, the whole taproot, so that we can just chuck them. All right, so moving right along to the white trellis bed here. I've got this hollyhock that just refuses to flower, but I guess that's just my problem and not hers. And I've also got this dahlia over here. Now I've been taking the dried dahlia heads, seed heads, and saving the seeds from them. Look how good these seeds are. And what we're going to do is save the seed and grow more seedlings for next year. I don't need these ones for now though. Oh, my little blueberry. Doesn't it look lovely with its little red fall color? I still need to protect it from the rabbits, but it's here still. The peas on the one side of the trellis that I know for a fact gets more sunlight are fine, and they're doing really well. And I think I also sold them sooner. But these guys are just on the struggle bus, bro. Who's not riding the struggle bus is these strawberries. They are pretty much a living mulch in this bed at this point, and I appreciate them. So all of these guys get to stay until the spring when they'll be taken out. And of course the ones along the sides here will stay permanently. All right, let's go to the other side. Up here I've got my pepper bed, and as I've said before, it definitely needs a little TLC in the form of some organic matter. The soil over here is not filled with enough life. You know, it's very sandy, it's very loose. Good soil should maintain its structure and not fall apart so easily. Now over here, my last tomato is still growing. It's still hanging on for dear life. So what I'm going to do is just take a few of these guys and bring them inside, chop them up and eat them as salsa. Lay down. Good job, big boy. Now, my tomato never really finished or recovered from the little leaf spot disease that it had once it started in the summer. It is still putting out fresh green growth. It doesn't know that it's going to frost soon. What does this tomato know? Praise be to God, my clematis is alive, you guys. This was something that I definitely struggled with once I planted it, but I'm proud to say she's going to make it. Heading over the rest of this bed, you can kind of tell it's just a cluster of green. And then we have this beautiful snapdragon that pops up in the middle of it all with its glorious orange and pink petals. Ugh, you're stunning, girl. Looking over here through the rest of it, I've got this oregano that's poking up from the top of the strawberries. It's had to do that so that it could find some sunlight, I guess, because there's so many dang strawberries. All right, over here in my perennial flower bed, we've cut back the echinacea. I did leave a few of the dead seed heads on for the birds because, you know, I got to help my little local birdies out and make sure that they've got food for the winter. We love them around here. And my heliopsis is also in this corner, and it's dried out pretty well, so I'm just going to spread seeds for this. I did have that heliopsis reseed before, so that was good. I'm hoping that all these tiny little seeds, that somebody here is going to end up being a gorgeous heliopsis plant in this bed next year. Hi, little buddy! These dahlias are so gorgeous. I know I just keep talking about this one, you guys, but I mean it. I'm so sickeningly proud of it. It's my favorite color. I grew it, not from a tuber. I did this! Oh, I'm so proud. And I think it's really important to celebrate your achievements and enjoy these little victories in the garden every year. All right, so over here we've got some peas that I had plucked in here, and they're doing pretty good. Just gonna go ahead and see if we can get this guy to grab on. Hold on for dear life, my friend. Yeah. So yeah, they're doing really good. I think they'll last past the first few couple of frosts, and the marigolds are also doing well, and they last through a light frost as well, actually. So I think this whole little bed will survive for a little bit longer. So it's just that time of year. The grapevine is starting to drop its leaves, and my hope is that for next year I'll go ahead and build the trellis system up and run a cable up top, cable down the bottom here, and I'll have something to actually tie the vine to instead of just kind of how crappy it is right now. Here's my cutting experiment. And a random onion that seems to have popped back up that I'll use for chopped green onion in the kitchen. Why not? The container orchard's doing pretty good. My pear tree here is hanging in there for next season. Behind it here, we've got one of my cherry trees. And then behind that one, I've got another apple tree. I only lost 1 or 2 apples. I lost 1 pink lady and I lost 1 gala this year, which kind of sucked. I'll see if I can get a warranty or a refund for that, but in the meantime, I'll just deal with it. So for this blackberry arch over here, my plan has been to create more blackberry plants. So I've been taking the long runners now that are too long and dipping them deep into the container here, so you can kind of see they've started to root, and the plan is that I will take these and then have more plants that I can go ahead and share with my friends, my neighbors, or myself, whatever I want. All of this stuff here in this corner kind of needs to be sorted and organized, and if it's organic matter that can be added to a bed, I need to take it and bring it back here and add it into the garden. So yeah, need to take care of that. I also would like to address the composting area over here. So I would like to clean up the containers and then take any finished compost, obviously that's already completed here, and dump it in the pepper beds. But anything that's not finished, all of this needs to be consolidated maybe into my giant geo bin. These bins that are over here, these containers, have my bokashi soil in them, so I will probably leave those for future bokashi. This might be the last garden tour, but thank you for saying goodbye to her with me. We're going to be preparing the garden now for the winter months ahead of us, making sure that we get her prepped and ready for next season. So join me the next few weeks as we get some more garden maintenance done. But other than that, thank you so much for joining me today, and I'll catch you next time.